Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. We are back with some more Destiny 2 reacts and news. That is right, Activision wasn't the problem for Destiny, or that is at least something that has been said by Pirate Software. I don't know who they are, but a lot of people seem to hold them in high regard. Also, it's always nice to hear other people's opinions about Destiny. Something that we have always said in the past as a community was we always blamed Activision for their monetization. We always saw them as the bad guy. And as time went by and Bungie went by, and we found out that it was Bungie all along that was the villain, or at least the leaders of Bungie, especially with all the layoffs and the fact that Sony took over and was like, hey, it's not our fault. It's your leaders that are doing all the stupid decisions. So I think history will look back and people will be like, man, when Activision looks like a hero because of Bungie, you know you've done effed up. So what am I talking about? Well, let's check out the clip and yeah, let's take it from there. I'm gonna stop the music and we're gonna listen as best we can. Again, the sound might be a little low. I hope not.
You ready for the grossest possible thing that you could learn? Bungie was the way it was because Activision was stopping them from going overboard with monetization. If Activision is the one yanking the chain to stop you from ripping off your players super hard with shitty monetization, you have problems. Remember when Bungie bought themselves out? Remember when they broke away from Activision? What happened to the monetization of the game within 6 months? Go back and look, take off your rose-tinted glasses, and watch what happened to that company within 6 months of breaking away from Activision. Activision was stopping them from over-monetizing. And now what do you have? Layoffs. And everyone mad at one person over it. No. Systemic issue inside of the business.
I think that is very, very shocking. Activision was the one holding back Bungie from monetizing. And that is, wow. That is crazy. And again, we were always told by Bungie that they would use these monetizations to make missions like the Whisper, which was very well held in high regard as a secret mission that people loved and enjoyed. Sorry. And that was their excuse for all the monetization. Well, fast forward and where's the money? Oh, apparently it's at Pete Parsons' house with the 23 cars. And yeah, we got a little community note. The video above is cut out of context and not from the official Pirate Software account, or aka Pirate added context in a reply. And we're going to check out the reply. So here we are. There's the reply. I love when people make clips of me without the context of the rest of the conversation. This wasn't released or cut by us. We were having a talk about the current Bungie CEO and showing that Bungie has deeper problems than just one person, which is what he said. Right? We always said Pete Parsons, but obviously there's more than one person who's accountable for money. I still think it's Pete Parsons because he himself has not done anything to show that he is cutting his own salary or doing anything to try to help the people who are actually losing their jobs. Instead, he's literally flaunting his vehicles and insider information that has come out. He showed a bunch of people his cars before they got fired. So even though Pirate wants to make the point that it's just not one person, he's not wrong, but he's also not right. We definitely got to hold Pete accountable. Bungie broke away from Activision in January 2019. Bungie then put Destiny 2 as a free-to-play. No. He's wrong there. Destiny is not free-to-play. Destiny is a free-to-try. You see, only like 10% of the game is actually free to like dabble with. You want to do Grandmasters? You got to pay. You want to do trials? You got to pay. I don't know if, there's no other thing for Gambit. Like, who cares? It's Gambit. Oh, you want to play a campaign? You only get to play the first mission. Oh, what's that? You want to do the season? Oh, you got to pay to access the rest of the seasonal stuff. You got to pay. You got to pay. So it is a free to try, but 90% and majority of the story, it's not like First Ascendant where the whole campaign is free. It's not like Warframe where the whole campaign is free, where the characters are free, or you can pay money. Like the guns are all free, or you can pay money. Diablo, you pay the game, but all the seasonal stuff is 100% free. Like, you paid the game and everything else after that, except for expansions, is free. All the updates, all the seasonal things, free. You pay for a battle pass. Okay, that's even Fortnite does that, but everything in Fortnite, free. What I'm getting at is Destiny moved from this whole, where just you buy the game, you get the game, and then you pay for the expansions, to now we're free to play, but we have a bunch of microtransactions. You got to pay for expansions. You got to pay for seasons. You also got to pay for raids, or not raids, dungeons that are completely separate. They're not included in seasonal package or the expansion package. You also got to pay for all these other microtransactions. They even tried selling actual exotic weapons. They tried to sell weapons in the game, and they got immediate pushback. So let's not act like, let's not try to give them like some grace. They do not deserve any grace. They are heavily monetized as a free to try on Steam in October 2019. Large ships take time to turn, so seeing their business model shift 10 months later makes sense entirely. Today, we can see that Destiny, who has a number of DLCs, annual passes, in-game currency purchases, and cosmetic packs as the primary income driver. This dramatic shift in monetization, coupled with removing of a number of expansions of content during year 4, served to pit a not insignificant amount of the player base against developers. We can see the outcome of this in general fan sentiment and in Steam reviews. Yeah, I mean, halting content that you paid for is never going to be received well. Even in Destiny 1, you could still play the content. The difference is you couldn't carry it forward. Like, it was lower light level, you couldn't carry it forward, but you could go back and play the old content with those guns. You could still enjoy the content because it was in the game. So removing content that you paid for is stupid. Now, seasonal content, you can make an argument for that, you know, other seasonal stuff stays in other games, right? Like Diablo, they take some of it, they put some of it back, which Destiny's starting to do with like Grandmasters. They'll bring some strikes or some battlefronts or whatever the heck they're called. I don't even care, but they use that supplemental for GMs, even though the community hates that they'd rather have real strikes. That's an entirely different argument, but I'm just pointing out that overall, the vaulting was probably the biggest turning point for people in Bungie. They lost a lot of people when they did that. So yes, their business model changed after the breakaway from Activision. Yes, it led to an area where many players felt negatively about Destiny 2 and its direction. That can only lead to a decline of studio over time unless they have other games to absorb the impact, which they don't. Marathon is actually taking more of their income. So I thought it was very interesting that they were chiming in, but the context he's missing is that it's a free to try, and it's been that even with the whole monetization thing, he doesn't know that Bungie clearly stated that, hey, we're increasing monetization so we can do these missions that you guys like, and well, we get this maybe once every other month or so, whatever it was, and it's not even at the same quality as the Whisper, in my opinion. Some of them were just like Season of the Deep. They literally took one of the main seasonal activities and then at the tail end slapped on a small slither of, hey, hidden mission. In fact, do we still have that secret hidden mission where we got the exotic pulse rifle? I don't know what it's even called. It's not even good. No, we don't. In fact, you have to go to the hero statue and you have to purchase it from there because there is no mission. They brought back all the other missions because those were true missions. This just goes to show that the whole excuse of we use these funds to create new cool content for you guys was just a lie. And then Activision was in the back holding Bungie from doing all these crappy choices. Because if you remember, when Forsaken came out under Activision's umbrella with Bungie, we got two content, like two different new areas. We got a dungeon for the first time, and it was part of it. You didn't pay for a separate key. You got it with it. We had one of the best raids, one of the biggest raids we've ever had, and probably the most iconic raids outside of, you can say, Vault of Glass, because it obviously nostalgia berries for people who are like, that was the first raid. Outside of that, I would say that Last Wish is one of the biggest raids in Destiny's history, and will always go down as one of the big ones. Salvation's Edge may be another one, but I would say more people will hold Last Wish in a higher regard in general, in my opinion, because Forsaken itself was in a grander scale. The story was in a grander scale, in my opinion, and yes, I do think Forsaken does have a better story than The Witness, in my opinion. I truly do. Like, I think it was still good, but I feel like I'm going on a little rant here. I do think that The Witness was not as menacing as Aldrin. Like, literally the entire way we saw him kill we saw Aldrin kill Cade. What did The Witness do? Exactly. Like, right off the rip, at the very beginning, yeah, you could say the final shape, literally, you saw people being intaked and whatnot, like turned into stone. But I was like, but outside of that, like, that's just the outcome of his main thing. Him as a villain, you never actually saw any real impact or threat from him, except for in Lightfall. He did finger blast people like one time, and that was it. That's a little ranty, but the point is, Activision was the one supporting. Remember, they also had other companies or mini studios that were assisting, like Vicarious Visions helped make a lot of content, including Season of the Forge. We also had Season of Opulence, Season of Gambit, or wherever it's called. Like, these are held as like the best kind of seasons, the proto seasons, because they had Activision support and they had a good product. And it's sad that we lost that because of the incompetence of the leaders at Bungie. And I know he doesn't want to blame just the one person, and he's right. It's not just one person, but it is definitely Pete Parsons at the head of it. Like, as a leader, it is your job to lead. Even if other heads in your company are making stupid choices, if you're not willing to be involved and listen to your community, then you are to be blamed, as you are the leader. It's just like leaders of a country. You can point out the people and like, oh, well, it was their fault. Like, yeah, that might be true, but you are literally the head. It is your responsibility to help navigate and direct these other leaders to support and follow what your voters and the people in your country are wanting. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just making a general point, right? If you're a leader, lead. Don't stand in the shadows and make other people take the blunt of the blame. As a real leader takes responsibility and leads. That's it. That's no more ranty raving. But in my general, I thought it was very interesting that Pirate Software came out. I don't know really much about them. Oh, they're a game developer. Okay, so that's why people are listening to them, because they're also a game developer. And so, yeah. Overall, it is crazy to think that Activision was holding Bungie back, and Bungie is literally their own killer, right? Activision was keeping the game afloat, literally helping make some banger content, and Bungie got greedy. They thought that they've always thought that they could do things on their own, and we can see that they couldn't. They nearly killed themselves, literally went into insolvency. So, man, it is a shame. Who would have thought, like, where would we be in Destiny history if Activision was still working with Bungie? Like, if we still had like Vicarious Visions, imagine what kind of banger we would have got for the final shape. Heck, Lightfall, they could have literally gave Lightfall to Vicarious Visions or some other studio within Activision, and they could have literally saved Lightfall. We'll never know. I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Hit that like button, comment down below, and let me know what you think. What do you think about this? And what you think about? Do you think Activision could have saved Destiny and kept it going? And yet, when I say save, I mean keep Bungie for doing stupid choices that led to so many layoffs. Do you think that they would have saved it or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Until next time, don't forget to be the best version of yourself and game out. Huzzah!